Hello everybody, welcome back to our SSCMA classes. So we are going to resume our direct taxation classes, and today's topic is going to be income deemed to be earned, accrue or arising in India, section 9. So there are some income which is going to, we'll assume that the income is in India, we'll assume that it is deemed to earn in India. Okay, so we have to find out which are the things which are going to fall under this टॉपिक. ठीक है, एनी इनकम अक्रू अराइज आउटसाइड इंडिया. ठीक है, एनी इनकम विच अक्रू अराइज आउटसाइड इंडिया टू एनी एसएससी थ्रू और फ्रॉम. Number 4 thing says any business connection in India. Now we have to understand the meaning of this, right? Let me mark it. We have to understand the meaning of this. ठीक है, what is business connection in India? Okay, that's it. Let's go for the other topic. Other condition which are falling under this, which says first of all any business connection in India. Second, any property, asset, source of income in India. Any property, any source, any asset or source of income which is actually arise in India. In that case, we are also going to take this part. ठीक है. Third says about the transfer of capital asset situated in India. For example, a non-resident is having any property in India, ठीक है, and he transferred that property to any of his friend or any person, ठीक है, in form of consideration, in return of consideration definitely, or some other consideration that could be in any form. ठीक है. So what is going to be happen? Capital gain is going to arise. ठीक है. So the capital asset is transferred to XYZ person. ठीक है, and the capital asset is in India, situated in the India. So what is going to happen? Tax. Okay, this income which is earned by non-resident from the outside of India because of the asset was actually situated in India. ठीक है, in that case we are going to assume that this is the income. This is going to be deemed to be income accrue arise in India. Okay, we are not going to take that whether the non-resident is India or outside the India. We are going to take only those things which is the income arise or accrue arise in India. ठीक है, then only those things are going to be taken in this part. ठीक है. So number 4 thing was any business connection. ठीक है. Now we have to understand business connection. I'll let you know what are business connection. What is business connection? What are the things who are going to be fall in this state. ठीक है. Second, any property, asset or source. Okay, any property or asset or source of income which is actually in India, which is actually generated in India. And third, transfer of capital asset situated in India. ठीक है, we know this now. Now let's go for a little topic which says about the income. About the income shall not be treated as deemed to be earned in India. Okay, we know this about the export. If anything is done for export, okay, export means the goods or services going outside India, then that is not the income, right? Let me clear it. ठीक है. For example, there are few things which are said that these income are not going to be deemed to be income in India. ठीक है. Purchase of goods in India. Okay, if the goods are purchased in India for what? For exportation. ठीक है, it is purchased, the goods are purchased in India for doing export. In that case, that would not deemed to be income in India, first of all. ठीक है. Second, collection of news in India for transmission outside India. Okay, the main purpose was to collect the news, gather the news, okay, and to be published. It is to be transmitted outside India. In that case, this thing also not going to comes in deemed to be in the income deemed to be in India. ठीक है. Third, shooting, film, right? I'm talking about the doing filming. ठीक है. Shooting of films in India by NR. We are not taking the Indian person here. We are going to take the non-resident here, who is non-citizen. ठीक है. Shooting of film in India. ठीक है. Outside by the non-resident. We have seen in fact in Indian cinema, Indian movies, that during, like, we are taking the shot for songs. Okay, in that case some of the shots are taken outside India. Okay, you have seen so many sceneries, landscapes and all in that particular song. Okay, so that are particularly shooted outside India sometimes, है ना? So this also applies there. Some parts are shooted in India. Okay, and that is not for, like, let me read it again. Shooting of film in India by whom? By non-resident. I'm not talking about resident here. ठीक है? Shooting of film by whom? A non-resident. ठीक है? Non-citizen. Okay, so if it is done by non-resident and that is done not for India, ठीक है, in that case that would be income. That income would not be deemed to be income accrue arise in India. Okay, activity related to display of uncut. We are only going to take the uncut and unassorted diamonds in special economic zone. Special economic zone by the foreign company. By whom? By foreign company. If any of the gems, diamonds are actually displayed, but they are in not like finished thing, finished product, okay, they are uncut or unassorted. Okay, if it is displayed by whom? First of all, we have to understand by foreign company in only special economic zone. We are only granting this point for special economic zone if it is actually displayed by whom? By the foreign company in special economic zone. What displayed? The uncut. This is not the final product, final diamond. Okay, which is actually purchased by many of us. Okay, many of us, I mean especially females. ठीक है, uncut and unassorted, ठीक है, diamonds. Okay, if this is actually just for the displaying purpose, okay, by foreign company in special economic zone, then this point will also not cover in income deemed to be accrue arise in India. So let's take a quick revision which says the purchase of goods in India for what export, ठीक है, second collection of news in India, transmission outside India, ठीक है, shooting of film in India by non-resident, non-citizen in that case only, ठीक है, activity which display of uncut, unassorted diamonds by whom? By foreign company in special economic zone only, not other than special economic zone. ठीक है, so these words are very short topic. Let's go for the very first condition which I already told you about, the any business connection in India which is going to be deemed accrue arise in India, income deemed to be accrue arise in India. Now we have to understand the meaning of business connection in India. ठीक है, as I told you, the income would be deemed to be income accrue arise in India, but the very first condition was of any business connection in India. Now what is this business connection in India? ठीक है, let's go for it. Business income of non-resident. Okay, actually what happens, the non-resident is having some business connection with India, first of all. So what is that? Either he's having any business activity with India or in India. There is a difference between with India and in India. Okay? If that business is with India, I mean if that business is with India, okay, actually they are not having PIN in India. Okay? They are not having PIN in India. They just that they having with in India, with India, what business is with the India, okay? The non-resident is having business with India. In that case, no taxability is going to be happens, okay? In this case, no taxable, okay? If the person, the non-resident is having business with India. But what about the non-resident is having business in India? Definitely, okay? Whether as per Income Act, ठीक है, और as per DTA, in both the cases that is going to be taxable. In both the cases that is going to be taxable. ठीक है, इतनी बात समझ में आई? चलो ठीक है, let's go for it. But what about the other thing? First of all, they are again saying as per income tax, as per income act, ठीक है, income tax act actually, ठीक है. If the non-resident is having business in India as per income tax act, in that case that is going to be taxable if business connection is in India. Now again they are saying business connection, है ना? We have to understand this. What is this business connection they are talking about? Okay, and the second part says if non-resident is having business connection in India, okay, as per DTA, I already told you what is DTA, what are the provisions and all, okay? So as per DTA, if PE is in India, now we know the meaning of P, just because of DTA. I know you already read what are the other things or other branches and all which are going to fall in P in India, okay? So first of all, what are they saying? As per Income Tax Act, if there is business connection in India, okay, in that case that is going to be taxable. The income is going to be taxable. Okay, that is going to be income deemed to be accrued in India. Okay. Second, if non-resident is having business connection as per DTA. DTA means if they are having P in India, permanent establishment in India, in that case also they are going to be taxable. The income will deem to accrue in India. Okay, so now we have to understand the very first thing, that what is business connection now. Okay, they are again saying business connection. So we have to know about business connection first. Okay, let me remind again, business connection was talking about two things. If the business is with India, in that case no taxability is going to arise. But if the business is in the India, in two cases. Okay, first case was of as per Income Tax Act. Definitely, if business connection is going to happen, then it's going to be taxable. As per what? DTA. In that case, again, if P is in India, then taxability is going to be arise. Now, what is business connection here? Okay, NR appoints person in India. Okay, what are they saying? If NR, again, let's say it. If NR is appointing any person is in the India. Okay, but why he is appointing any person in India? For business activities, to do the business activity. Hope this was clear. Up to this was clear. Let me say it again. If a non-resident is appointing any person, okay, any person in the India, he is appointing any person in India for what? For doing the business activity, which include P in India. Now we know the meaning of P. What are the other things which are going to be included in P? Okay, so if any person NR appoints person in India for doing the transaction, which transaction? Business activity. Okay, now which person and for what purpose? Okay, we are going to read this. Okay, first of all, they are appointing concluding agent. For what? Who habitually excise in India. Okay, sometimes which we say continuous basis. Okay, and conclude contract in India. Okay, and he is doing transaction on behalf of non-resident. First of all, he appoints one agent who is concluding agent. Okay, he's doing what? He's doing business activity by what? He's doing habitually excising the contract. Okay, he is actually habitually excising in India and concluding contract, and these are done on basis of non-resident. First of all, so this point is going to cover in business connection in India. First point. Okay. Second, stocking agent. Who is maintaining, by name we can definitely know the meaning, that stocking agent is going to maintain some stock. Okay, so stocking agent maintains stock of goods, merchandise, from which he regularly deliver goods and merchandise. So what is he doing? Actually, he is maintaining goods and merchandise, and on that basis he is doing regularly delivering the goods and merchandise on behalf of whom? On behalf of that person, non-resident. Is it clear? Second, first of all, what happens if non-resident is appointing any person, right? For what? For doing any business activity. And what are the business activity? First of all, if he is appointing concluding agent, for what? Habitually concluding agent is having the power. Okay, for who? What is he doing? Habitually excising. Okay, and on that basis he is doing the contract on behalf of non-resident. First point was saying this. Second, the stocking agent, who is maintaining the stock, okay, in the India on behalf of non-resident, and as per the guidance, as per the conversation which is he doing with non-resident, okay, he is delivering the stocks. which stocks the goods and make it merchandise. ठीक है. Third, the intending agent who is actually doing securing the order. ठीक है. In India, mainly or wholly, they are not talking about the partially something. ठीक है. They are talking about the main objective of his is he could also do some other work, but his main work is what he is doing, the main work of non-resident. Again, he is doing mainly or wholly. For whom? For non-resident. In that case, he is going to be intending agent, and these people are going to fall in business connection because these activity is going to be in business connection. ठीक है. So first of all, concluding agent who is doing habitually. ठीक है. Taking the contract. ठीक है. Second was of stocking agent. ठीक है. Who is maintaining the stock and delivering the goods and merchandise. Third was of intending agent who secures order in India, who actually handling everything. ठीक है. For whom? For non-resident. ठीक है. What if, let's take about the independent agent. Do they going to fall in this state, in this condition? No, because what is in case of independent agent, he is actually doing business on his, he's not taking any idea, or he's not involving, or he's not doing any business behalf of non-resident. Is it clear? So in case of independent agent, we are not going to take the independent agent. Is it clear? We are going to take the three part. So let's rewind it. If non-resident appoint any person, which person? 3 person, we know that. ठीक है. And for what person? For doing the business activity, including P. Well, including P. In that case, these are going to be business connection. Hope this part was clear. ठीक है. Let's go for the other. Business connection shall include any business activity carried out through agent. Then such NR has business connection in India. This is what I said. ठीक है. So hope so up to this was clear. Let's go for the exception of this business connection. First of all, business activity carried out through broker. ठीक है. Broker, general commission agent, or any other agent who are having independent status. What I talk about independent agent, this is about the independent agent, where they are talking about the independent agent. So in case of independent agent, we will not take this person in case of business connection. ठीक है. Because independent agent is doing what? He is carrying out the activity, ठीक है, by him, ठीक है. He is not in connection, or he is not doing transaction on behalf of non-resident, or he is not doing any transaction for non-resident. ठीक है. Not on behalf, not for. Not on behalf, not for. ठीक है. Whom? For the non-resident. Is it clear? Yes, this is clear. ठीक है. So let's continue. Business activity carried out through a broker, general commission agent, any other agent who is having independent status acting in ordinary course of business is not ठीक है, regarded as business connection, who does not work wholly or mainly or wholly for the non-resident. Hope so this part was clear. ठीक है. Let's go for the second, which says where a business is carried on in India. ठीक है. Through a person specified in ABC. Which ABC? These people are ABC. ठीक है. We are talking about A, B and C. ठीक है. Concluding, stocking and intending. ठीक है. So ABC. Okay. What are they saying now? Where the business is carried on in India through a person specified in ABC above, only so much of income R is attributable to the operations carried out in India shall be deemed to accrue or arise in India. ठीक है. Yes. Okay. Let's go for the third point, and we want to know about this thing. ठीक है. They are saying of the significant. This is significant. ठीक है. Significant economic presence of NR. Now we have to understand the meaning of significant economic presence. ठीक है. If there is economic presence of NR in India, then also that's going to constitute business connection in India. Now we have to understand the significant economic connection. ठीक है. Presence. ठीक है. If any non-resident is doing the transaction, and that transaction is going to include the provision of downloading of data or software in India. ठीक है, a non-resident is doing any of the transaction, that transaction is including any of the provision of download of softwares and data or data in India. ठीक है, now let's take about, they are saying a non-resident is doing transaction with any person. ठीक है, including independent director, including independent. ठीक है, earlier we didn't take, in case of business connection we didn't take the independent agent, remember we take the other 3 agent concluding and all. ठीक है, but in this case we are going to take the independent directors also, please note this. ठीक है, so non-resident is doing transaction provision of downloading software and data which is in India. ठीक है, and he is doing transaction with any person including independent director, and the value of that transaction exceeds देखो value of this transaction exceeds what, 2 crore aggregate amount in the previous year, then only the non-resident is having significant economic presence in the India. Let me say it again, if the non-resident appoints any person and that person also include independent director, ठीक है, independent director, ठीक है, okay, and that transaction exceeds the value of 2 crore in the aggregate, I'm talking about the aggregate, not the single transaction. ठीक है, and the transaction value exceeds the 2 crore in what, in the previous year. In that case, that person, that non-resident is having the the significant economic presence in India. ठीक है, yes, this part is clear. And second, the non-resident engaging in interacting with users in India. Now what are they saying? Let's take example of a non-resident made any app or software which is made outside India, ठीक है, and that software is actually accessible by Indians, any people, but we are taking here about Indians. ठीक है, for let's go for Netflix, ठीक है, or any other app, ठीक है, Alibaba I guess. ठीक है, so if the interaction is done with the user, that non-resident through that particular software or through that particular app, ठीक है, interacting with users in India, and that number of user is more than 3 lakh, ठीक है, number of users is more than 3 lakh, in that case that person is having the what, the significant economic presence in India. Is it clear? Let me say it again. If any non-resident is engaging or interacting with users in India, ठीक है, how many users of India? At least 3 lakh, ठीक है, if the number of users are at least 3 lakh, which means more than 3 lakh, ठीक है, at least 3 or more, ठीक है, 3 or more lakh, ठीक है, so at least they should be 3 lakh, and if they are interacting with people, with these number of people, and what is going to happen, that non-resident is going to have this significant economic presence in India. Is it clear? So these people are going to have business connection in India indirectly, ठीक है, earlier if the non-resident appoints person in India, we didn't take independent agent, ठीक है, so in business connection where the significant economic presence is also included, this is also the part of business connection which says the independent agent can also be in business connection, ठीक है, or any of the non-resident who is interacting with the users with at least how many users, 3 lakh, ठीक है, in that case they would have business connection in India, and that income would be deemed income which accrue or arise in India. Hope so till this everything is cleared, ठीक है. Let's also go for 2-3 points which says the income from any property, asset or source of income in India, definitely that would be deemed to be income accrue arise in India, ठीक है. Income through transfer of capital asset situated in India, I told you this, ठीक है. Okay, so what is this? Share of foreign company, this I'm talking about the transfer of capital asset here, shall be deemed to be situated in India if foreign company share derives substantially its value from asset located in India, ठीक है. What is the meaning of substantially now? If on specified date value of Indian asset exceed 10 crore, and in that case only, and represent at least 50% of total value of all asset of the foreign company, and the value of asset will be taken less fair market value without reducing the liabilities of the company. ठीक है. Hope so till this everything is clear to you. So in this section we read about the income deemed to be accrue or arise in India, ठीक है, earned by whom? Earned by non-resident, ठीक है. So that was of these point. We know the meaning of business connections and some exceptions, ठीक है, about the independent agents also, ठीक है. So till this you have to do the revision, ठीक है, solve the questions, go in depth, understand the laws language, and what you have to do, subscribe my channel, hit a like button and comment below, ठीक है. Till then we'll meet in our next section. Toodles guys.